We read the second chapter of the Shell arc. Wait, it's not called an arc. What's it called? Is it called an arc?
It's called an arc.
Okay. Totally wait.
Welcome to Inchworm,
the podcast in which we are inching through worm. I'm Jenny.
and I'm Ted.
And we read Shell 4.2.
Ooh, the second chapter in the Shell arc. So,
My predictions were wrong.
Yes.
Yeah, they did not meet anyone alarming. In fact, nothing really extreme happened at all. We had like a really interesting conversation with Lisa, and now we're having a conversation with the full group over dinner, and it's just kind of chatting and character stuff.
It's very low stakes character stuff.
Yeah.
It's
it
kind
was
of nice.
quite a relief.
A very big change of pace. I mean,
I thought they were about to like meet someone they'd have to fight.
yeah. I mean, good instincts. That could still happen at Fugly Bob's.
Yeah, I feel like I still don't have too clear a sense of the pace of this story. And possibly it'll keep changing, but like, I don't know how intense to expect things to get. It's like, you know that feeling when you're watching like a, you know, one of those 42-minute like medical dramas or like, you know, crime dramas, whatever, and you're like, ooh, they have a possible solution. Oh, we're only 30 minutes in. It's not going to be, you know, you kind of can predict the rhythm of it. And I feel like so much of media is like that.
Yeah,
like, you know, you're
absolutely.
like, oh, it's like a 2-hour action movie. Like, oh, this is when it's going to get big. And this just isn't genre conforming in any way. And I just don't know. Like, possibly by the time we've read, you know, 15 arcs or whatever, I'll have a sense. But also possibly it'll just evolve and I won't ever get that intuition about it.
Yeah.
Really keeps you on your toes.
Yeah. And I mean, I feel like stories tend to teach you
Their
what
own
things to
rules. Yeah.
expect as it goes. I guess I feel a little bit guilty because I feel like I often talk like, oh, the cliffhangers get so intense, you know, you're not going to want to wait. So I think I am setting your expectation a little bit.
Yeah. I just know so many bad things are going to happen, so I keep expecting everything to be worse than it is. It is, I think, a very different experience. Hype changes things. Like,
Yeah.
I think I wouldn't be braced quite as hard if I hadn't heard so much about it, if I hadn't heard your sort of
You'd also...
overall...
Everything would be a cliffhanger because you would just like read like 5 or 8 chapters
Well,
at a
no,
time.
that is true. You would really skip ahead to... I mean, not skip ahead, but like consume much larger chunks, so the cliffhangers would be more salient. You
Right. Why would you wait here? Why would you stop here?
You wouldn't sit down and just read this one chapter.
Read the next chapter
Yeah.
and then immediately read the next chapter.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I'm really enjoying talking about it, but I am like a little sad not to just be able to consume it.
Yeah. That sense of dread being very palpable reminds me of how I was watching the last season of The Wire, because what The Wire did was it trains you like, oh, major characters can die and things are really sudden and like there's realistic violence. And so it's just a nail biter through the second half of season 5 because I'm like, well, there's no future seasons, so really any of
there's
my
no reason
precious
to keep them alive.
characters could be killed at any minute. And I remember there's one scene of just a detective who's kind of a secondary character. He's sitting in his car on an empty street with the window down. And just the way it was filmed, it was just like a 40-second scene of him like looking at a map or his notes or like smoking a cigarette or something.
That's a long scene.
Yeah, but I was just
happen.
like, oh my god, who's going to come running out of this alleyway and like shoot him in the head? Like, who's going to throw a Molotov cocktail in his car? I was like, something terrible is about to happen. And then the scene passes and I'm like, whew, okay, maybe I should chill. Like, maybe the show isn't quite that bad.
It is kind of amazing when a piece of media really makes you believe. Spoilers for Serenity and also Toy Story 3. Those are my go-to examples of like, I really believed that everyone was going to die after, spoiler, Wash dies in the climax of Serenity. And then they're like, he's such a major character. And then they're in this fight. I actually thought everyone was going to die. And then at the end of Toy Story 3, the toys had kind of fulfilled their purpose in life and they were in this incinerator. I was like, they're actually going to all die.
I mean, it's really well done. The Toy Story 3
so
one.
well done. Yeah.
Well, and we've talked a lot about Naomi Novik's Scalaman's book. And one thing that she does really well there is that a character gets killed in like a really visceral, upsetting way in like the second chapter of the book.
Right, it's just like a minor background character.
And that sets the danger level so high.
She has to kill almost no one else.
Yeah,
like, there are a few other deaths.
Right, it doesn't matter that there's not this recurring thing. You know, like The Wire made sure we're going to cash in a major character death at least once a season. Like it was kind of a pattern. But Naomi Novik was like, we'll just make it seem super scary and then we don't have to
kill that character right off the top and then it's established. Yeah. So this, I mean, Worm has had such major fights and like nothing horrible has happened, but it felt like there was the potential for it to happen. And I mean, I know that nothing horrible has happened is not going to continue forever. So
who can say? Who can say? Could just be winding you up.
Of them all hanging out. Wouldn't that be amazing if you had just basically pulled a prank where you just like massively overhyped the like danger and drama of it just to trick me into reading 1.5 million words of her hanging out with cool supervillain teens? I would love that.
Yes. Well, who can say?
What a reversal.
Who can say? We'll just have to keep reading.
Well, this chapter was pretty fluffy. You want to tell us about it?
Absolutely, yeah. So Lisa threatens to take Taylor shopping last chapter, and in this chapter she carries out that threat.
Diabolical.
It's a wardrobe revamp. It's a glow up for Taylor. Lisa basically says, hey, when I first met you, you seemed like you were really, really struggling. And you still kind of have this like really awful vibe. You only wear muted colors. Like you're clearly not having a good time. I think you have more potential than that, both in terms of clothes and also wink wink.
It's all a metaphor,
in terms of supervillainy. But yeah, we'll talk about it. But we get a little bit more Lisa and the group's impressions of Taylor, and Lisa tries to dig in a little bit on like, but what is going on? And Taylor fills her in a little bit, but then draws a really clear line saying like, look, my problems at school are my problems, and I do not want you to help me with them. And Lisa's like a little bit pouty about that, but she does seem to accept that Taylor is setting this boundary and just says, hey, if you ever change your mind, let me know. You know, a very clear offer. And Taylor's kind of like, okay, I can respect that. Like, no for now, but I'll let you know if that changes. And additionally, Lisa bribes her with a new pair of skinny jeans to say like, hey, maybe don't mention that Panacea was in the bag because that was a real bad mistake on my part. But it's not like it didn't read so much as a bribe to me. It's more just like a nice bonding moment.
Yeah.
And Taylor cracks a joke about her body type, i.e. no boobs. And then they go to Fugly Bob's. Fugly Bob's is a fast food restaurant of the most shameless kind. I was going to ask you perhaps to come up with a cape power for Hideous Bob, but that is not a cape. It is just the burger that Alec orders in the Fugly Bob's.
I did have a note that the Fugly Bob Challenger should be a cape name.
Yes. And
perhaps will be. We don't know.
Perhaps will be. We don't know. I mean, Taylor hasn't adopted the name Skitter yet. She could still claim that as her own. She can
switch to Fugly Bob Challenger.
Yeah, her own name. But they have some, like, Undersiders chit-chat, the four of them, at dinner. A little bit about what their next job might be like. And Taylor decides to pivot the conversation to origin stories. And that seems to go over like a lead balloon. And the chapter ends with Taylor saying, what did I say?
Yeah, I mean, definitely not the punch that I was expecting the chapter to pack, but still very intriguing. I really want to know why they were all so horrified by her saying, like, hey, when capes get together, they talk about their origin stories, right?
Yeah, I mean, do you want to start there with some speculation? So what Taylor says is, I know it's kind of cliche, but when people with powers get together, isn't it kind of standard to share origin stories? Apparently, I couldn't have picked a better way to kill the conversation. Lisa turned away, for once without a smile on her face. Brian and Alec gave me strange looks, not saying anything. What? I asked. I double-checked there was nobody in earshot. What did I say?
I mean, I feel like this is... Of course, it could go in any direction, but... I feel like there's an obvious explanation, just that all of their origin stories are bad. Like, they all were, based in trauma. And I'm curious, we've talked about how powers come from significant experiences, maybe always traumatic experiences. I'm not totally sure if it, like, what I've gleaned from you over the years, I don't know if it was completely definitive that it's always trauma. But I wonder if Taylor doesn't know that. If maybe that's not common knowledge in this world.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. So if she doesn't really understand why she got her own powers, or maybe doesn't understand that it being a negative experience is true for everyone. Yeah, I mean, I've speculated a little on how each of them got their powers, and I do think it was probably in a context of abuse for at least some of them. I could see how, like, so tell me about the worst thing that happened to you. Wouldn't that be a great conversation opener?
Yeah, that's a really interesting perspective on it. Certainly the one with the most outsized reaction here is Lisa.
Yeah.
Right? You've said over and over, she's the cheerful one.
Not smiling.
But this is like pretty grim for Lisa.
Yeah, Brian and Alec are just giving her strange looks, like they're surprised that she's asking. Maybe Lisa's story is particularly bad. I do feel like it would be weird, like, the fact that they're giving her strange looks, it's like, oh, maybe, like, all the capes know that it's based in trauma and, like, other people just don't. But, like, Taylor is such a nerd about capes. Like, she loves going to, like, Parahumans Online or whatever it's called. You know, she does her research. Is it such a closely guarded secret that she wouldn't know?
Yeah, it's a really interesting question.
And I'm intrigued. Good job, chapter.
I'm also intrigued, though I do know what we learn. You make an interesting point, though, which is Taylor knows she had a bad experience.
Presumably.
So... But
Taylor kind of always has bad experiences, so...
Right, so I guess what I'm asking is, like, why is Taylor bringing it up?
That's interesting. I mean, I would be curious how everyone else got their powers if I were her. Yeah. And maybe there's a way that she's planning to spin it that's, like, not completely horrifying or humiliating. Yeah. Just like, yeah, it was really overwhelming, and then I learned how to cope. You know?
I mean, it's also a pretty relatable thing to, like, ask a question for the sake of small talk and then realize if somebody asked you that question that you would immediately be like, oh, I didn't want to answer it.
Yeah. No, that is really true.
It could go.
Although she doesn't have that internal reaction necessarily.
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out next time on Inchworm. That's not the end of the episode, though.
Ooh, okay. Whew. Anything else to say about Fugly Bobs? I think we can dig into the Taylor and Lisa stuff a bit more. But
well, they do have a little conversation about, like, what should we do next? And Taylor's request is something less intense. What she says to them is, like, she wants to learn how to use her powers in a combat situation without having to face off against Loom or Glory Girl, which, like, as she said in the Glory Girl fight, like, how did she get this karma? Because, wow, first 2 fights out. Whew.
I love the way... So I think this is the first time when Alec, has a sarcastic line and Taylor doesn't try and, like, shut him down or immediately react badly. He's kind of like, well, if Rachel was here, she'd be calling you a wuss for wanting an easier job. And Taylor just responds, I'll just have to be glad she's not here then. Like, to me, this is another example of, like, Taylor's having a great time. Like, she's dishing a little bit with Alec, like, not letting him get to her.
Like banter.
Right. She's not like, my name isn't Dork, it's Taylor. I am not a wuss.
Exactly. It's a different tone.
She's more relaxed.
There's also, like, a clear metaphor going on with this food. Like, it's indulgent and presumably delicious. They don't actually describe, but, like, really enjoyable, and it's very abundant. There's this sort of feeling of, like, luxury, not fancy luxury, but just, like, having all, like, way more food than you even need.
Yeah.
And satisfying, but, like, it's not good for you, the narrative says, and, like, it's not the kind of thing that you should repeat too often.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, she's having a great time, but this isn't sustainable.
Mm-hmm. And they also share all of their sides with each other, which is so nice. Just the way that they don't have a strong hierarchy in their team structure.
Yeah.
They're just, like, eating family style with their sides.
They're a family.
Lisa and Taylor split the hideously large hamburger between them. Oh, these teens. So
now
sweet.
I'm hungry.
I feel like half of the teens I went to diners to would not have shared their fries, like, by default.
Yeah, no, definitely.
This is, like, well done, Undersiders.
Yeah, this team is something special. So, yeah, you want to move back and talk a little bit about the conversation with Lisa?
Yeah, I mean, maybe big picture, how does this change or update your impressions of Lisa?
Well, first, I just want to say, I feel like this is very much my experience of female friendship. Like, I feel like
same more.
It's always felt easier, sort of more obvious, more natural to me to connect a little bit more in a personal and vulnerable level with girls that I'm meeting and haven't known for very long than with guys.
Yeah.
And I feel like Lisa is definitely on that page. Like, she's the one who's sort of reaching out and, like, getting Taylor to talk about more vulnerable stuff in, like, specifically one-on-one settings where the guys aren't there. Yeah. And it really does feel like it reflects my socialization as a girl. And
I thought it was really nice the way she brings up the difficult subject in the context of a changing room where, like, Taylor actually has a little bit of a private space.
Yeah, she doesn't have to look her in the face.
Reminds me of the advice of, like, if you're going to have a difficult conversation with somebody, you could do it where you're both in the car. Yeah. Because you don't have to look directly at each other.
Or, like, doing an activity together where you're, like, not so focused, but, like, you know, turned towards things. Yeah. Yeah, so they kind of get to a lot of topics. I'm just scrolling back through it. The whole, like, her complaining about her body. I liked how Lisa put it. She's like, whatever you look like. She's not saying, like, oh no, you have great curves. Like, it seems like Taylor really doesn't have curves. And Lisa says, whatever you look like, whatever your body type, there's bound to be someone out there who thinks you're the hottest fucking person they've ever seen.
Yes.
Which is, that's great. I'm totally with you, Lisa. That is a great sentiment. And I bet it's going to be Brian.
I also really like, this is maybe the Taylor most overtly joking she's been, because her response to that is like, yeah, some guy who, like, wants
There's a sketchy pedophile out there with my name on it.
Yeah, exactly. But, like, it's like she's being funny. It's like self-deprecating in a funny way and not in a, like, oh, Taylor, are you okay?
No, exactly,
like, It's
right,
really sweet.
She's, like, joking about how she's completely flat and her mom was a B cup, and not even always that. And that was after she went up a partial size being pregnant with me.
Yeah, that's also, it's also so Taylor to be like, I'm going to give you, like, so much information and detail about my analysis about the fact that I'm flat-chested, right? She's not just like, oh, it sucks that I don't have boobs. She's like, I'm going to explain it, Lisa. I'm going to lay out all the facts.
Yes. I loved... Lisa says, these jeans show off your figure. The figure of a 13-year-old boy, I groused. You're taller than a 13-year-old boy. Don't be silly. Which is hilarious, and also obviously shade on Jake from Animorphs.
Yes, great point. I also love when Lisa convinces Taylor to buy the jeans. She's like, look, let me get you these jeans, and even if you never wear them, I can just be content knowing that you'll feel guilty about having them. And I was like, what a good read on who Taylor is.
Yes. Yeah, so they also talk about, they've all been a little, like, they've noticed something bad is going on in Taylor's life, which is, like, pretty darn perceptive of them.
It is perceptive, but it's also a reminder that we're in Taylor's head. And it's just like, probably if you did see Arc 1 Taylor, like, at the library, you might do a double take and be like, is that girl okay?
Like, no, she's not.
Like, is everything at home okay? At school okay? Because, like, she clearly was just visibly suffering, and it's so sad.
Yeah, I love how Lisa brings it up. They're talking about, like, Taylor's like, how will I explain these clothes to my dad? And Lisa's like, well, you can pretend that you borrow them from me. But if he hasn't figured out the reason your wardrobe has shrunk so much, chances are he's not going to notice if you have some new clothes. And that's, like, very perceptive that she knows that. Yeah, I mean, she has added information, I think, from her power here.
Yeah. But it's also, it is true Lisa is using her power to get to cheat. But I really like the way Lisa's power works is not, oh, I heard you thinking mean things about Emma, and so I'm going to ask you, who's Emma?
Right.
She does connect the dots, again, in a Sherlock Holmesy way of, like, oh, your clothes are now a little bigger than they were when you bought them. I did initially have this hunch that maybe your dad was abusing you, but then you said some nice things about your dad. And that information lets her say, okay, not home, then school, right? I really like that.
And she doesn't know for sure. She doesn't know the details.
Exactly. Even though she has a superpower, just the way it works lays it out in a really fun narrative way. Like it makes sense. The explanation is very natural.
It also doesn't seem like she has been trying super hard to use her power on Taylor. Like the way she did in the bank where it seemed like it took a lot out of her to like dig all that information out of Amy and Victoria's past. It doesn't seem like she's been doing that with Taylor. Either that or she's downplaying what she knows.
Yeah. I also love this beat right here where Lisa says, yeah, we talked about it. And then Taylor in the changing room lets her head thunk against the shaky plywood wall in that way that Charlie Brown always does in the Peanuts comics. He's always just like, hitting his head against the wall when he's feeling downtrodden.
Oh, yeah.
But then I love this reply. This is like such good... I don't know. It's like a
social smoothing.
Smoothing, yeah.
Diplomacy.
Lisa just says, it came up when we were talking about you joining the group, and we never 100% dropped the subject. Sorry. You're new, you're interesting, we talk about you. That's all it is. Right?
Yeah,
it's just
I like that a lot.
It's just diffusing it. It's just like, this is pretty normal. Of course we're talking about you behind your back, but not in a like, what's wrong with you?
It's just you're interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, like why wouldn't we?
What else do they have to do all day? I also like they're talking in sort of coded language because they're in a changing room in public. And Taylor's like, I want to keep these two major parts of my life separate. And Lisa's like, the suckish part and the non-suck part. It's like, yes, perfect code.
Yeah. Yeah, so what do you think about the line Taylor draws here? Lisa offers to help and Taylor shuts her down pretty definitively.
I was interested in her reaction. She says, I swear my blood turned cold in my veins. I could just see her showing up at school, taunting Emma. I think the prospect of facing down Glory Girl again would spook me less. And I was interested in what was behind that. Like, does she think Tattletale would make it worse? Like, does she think that it's just mixing the parts of her life in a way that she doesn't want to mix them?
Right.
Is it that she's more scared of Emma than she is of Glory Girl? Which is possible. I mean, Emma has hurt her much more personally than Glory Girl has.
Yeah.
And Emma has been this constant presence in her life in a bad way for the last year and a half. And it seems like, Glory Girl doesn't really... They've spent 5 minutes together.
Yeah. Her line to her, you interfere directly in my problems and I'm gone.
Yeah, that was harsher than I expected from someone who's... Like, she's really trying to seem like part of the group, and that was she feels so strongly about this that she's willing to lay down that line and not couch it in her, like, and I want a you guys sort of pretense with her whole insinuation plot.
Yeah. Well, it makes me feel like she feels, I don't know if ownership is the right word over the situation, but it feels intensely private to her. Right, she doesn't want
she's very protective
Lisa
of it.
meddling.
Yeah,
and I don't know if that's because if somebody could swoop in and save her and fix everything, that like she wouldn't want that for almost like a perverse reason, or if it's more she's fatalistic. She like nothing can help, so I want to limit the exposure.
I think it's more that one. I think it's more the situation is so bad she doesn't believe it can be fixed. She is very much afraid of it getting worse, and she feels like the way she's been handling it has more or less been keeping it stable, and she's afraid, like, stirring it up will just be so much worse.
Yeah, and
which, I don't know, we did just see her taunting Emma a little bit, but,
Yeah, and maybe it's just the fear of retaliation that she alluded to in the last chapter.
It's just like, right now it is at this certain scale, and I think she thinks involving Lisa would just, like, expand it, like, blow it up. It would be the bombshell. Although, what occurred to me?
Yeah.
Maybe Shell just refers to the bombshell that Taylor is now that she has this hot new outfit.
Yes, her glow up.
Yeah, she's a bombshell now.
Yeah. Lisa did not take off Taylor's glasses and let down Taylor's hair. So it's
I think
not
Taylor's
the
hair is
classic
already
movie
down.
moment.
Yeah. She doesn't have to wear her glasses in her creepy bug mask.
That's true.
Yeah, so before that, I loved this, Lisa's assessment of Taylor. Like you said, we've been in Taylor's head, and so it's really fun to get this analysis from the outside. Like, Lisa talks about how Taylor's really cautious. I like that about you. I think it's an essential addition to the group dynamic. And Taylor says Brian's cautious. And Lisa says, you and Brian are similar, but I wouldn't say he's cautious. He's pragmatic.
Sound familiar? I feel like you've called Brian pragmatic multiple times.
Incredibly pragmatic. He's just like a really practical person. And Taylor is too. And, I mean, Lisa even says that. And I think Brian has a certain degree of caution, but as Lisa says, he just has a lot of experience in this realm. 2 years before he joined the group, and then, I guess, 1 year with the group, which is a nice timeline, good information to have. So, you know, as Lisa's saying, like, he doesn't analyze things in as precise detail, and Taylor's really detail-oriented. I mean, you just gotta keep track of all those bugs. You watch, you interpret, and then you act with this careful, surgical precision. That's a strength and a flaw. Mm-hmm. And then we didn't really get much into the strength and flaw part specifically with fighting, but with regard to her wardrobe, it's like, you're being too cautious, overthinking things, you don't need to, always making the call to play it safe.
Yeah, what she says a couple paragraphs later is, I'm suspicious you're capable of surprising everyone, yourself included, when you drop your guard, start being bolder and improvise, not just when circumstances force you to. I'm not talking about clothes, you know. So my read on it is that the flaw part is Taylor's, I was going to say passivity, but that she's been reactive. Lisa's like, you're very reactive, but all of those skills you could use in a proactive way.
Yeah. I'm curious how much this is an accurate analysis of Taylor's character and how much it's Taylor being undercover. Like, she's not able to be honest about her motivation. She has to overthink. She has to think extra about, like, whether things she's going to say are going to give her away.
Yeah, you know, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Because we left the last chapter with a little bit of this ominous, who's a murderer? Could someone be a murderer?
Yeah.
And in this chapter, Taylor doesn't angst over that at all. And she never once worries about Lisa finding out her secret. It's really interesting. Actually. Either she's compartmented it away, or she's just feeling so confident that there's no way she can let it slip. It's kind of an interesting...
Right, especially when they're talking about her.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't a conversation about the dynamics of the Cape world.
And
this is...
she was so much more anxious about both of those things in their conversation in the van before the heist.
Yeah. Which wasn't even about her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess, and probably the heist has given her a sense of, like, confidence and belonging in the group. Yeah. And I think she is a little bit swept up in the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is funny that she doesn't think about that.
I also wonder, you know, you were saying, is this a correct assessment of Taylor? You also sort of have to wonder, what are Lisa's motivations? And I already editorialized this in the summary, but you do get this conversation where Lisa is talking up Taylor and being like, you know, like, oh my God, you know, just get some different clothes. You'll look so much better. Like, actually, you're super smart. Like, I'm telling you all these great things. You're like, I see all this potential in you, leading up to, oh, and could you keep a secret for me, please? You know, so I feel like you could read it a little bit more cynically, that she's buttering up Taylor so that she can get this favor. But that's just not, like, Taylor doesn't feel on guard about that at all. And I think the beats that we get, like, the way Lisa seems genuinely a little upset and not sure what to say when Taylor shuts her down so definitively about helping out at school, that just, like, feels like some emotional genuineness that isn't just, like, I'm trying to...
No, I agree. It feels like relationship building in a way that's a little bit deliberate, but the goal, I think, is more to have a strong relationship than to get the specific favor.
Well said. Yeah.
And I also think she's aiming for this relationship, but also enjoying building this relationship.
Yeah.
Like, it's like how she really wanted Taylor to settle into her room and decorate it. Like, she loves this kind of stuff. She loves, I think, being a little bit of the older mentor figure.
Yeah.
And
no, that's so true.
Yeah, and she doesn't... I mean, not saying she can't be friends with the guys, but it seems like Rachel's a difficult person to be friends with. I think she's really excited to have, like, another girl in the group that she can go shopping with and, like, be friends with maybe in just, like, a different way than the other two that she I mean, there are the other three, but
Yeah.
the other two were a little easier to connect with.
Exactly.
I mean, like, Alex seems kind of annoying, and like, it seems like their relationship is fine, but
she's older, and also he's a teenage boy, so that's like
he's kind
another
of
year or two penalty in terms of his maturity.
Also, him specifically, he just seems a little bit of a brat. And Lisa and Brian also seem to have a pretty good relationship, but like, it feels like there's a little bit of almost a rivalry there. Like, in this, like, Lisa gets to be like the older, smarter, wiser one. I mean, not smarter necessarily, but like more confident and wiser. And like, that's just such a fun role to play.
Yeah.
I think she's just really getting into it.
Absolutely.
It's going to be so interesting to see how these relationships stand up to a betrayal. And I mean, I feel like as they are now, they're not strong enough for that. But if they go through more life or death, like intense combat situations, like other,
Are you suggesting the betrayal?
Oh, yes. That's what I was thinking
And
of.
you're saying, are the relationships strong enough to come back from that? Or to deter the betrayal in the first place?
I meant more the second one. Like, not necessarily that they would come back from that, but like, to what extent would they be totally thrown away versus would there still be something there that could be called upon in either direction?
Mm-hmm.
Not that it's like, oh, but we can still be friends. Like, I'm not saying that.
More like, well, the stakes are so high, and it's like, but remember the jeans I bought you.
Right. I don't think they're there yet. Where the relationship will survive. Like, it's not, these aren't authentically deep enough. There hasn't been enough time, hasn't been enough experiences. Yeah. We've had several now. The last 2 one-on-one conversations have been, I guess we sort of, she and Brian like looked at the newspaper together, but like that wasn't really like an in-depth conversation. I wonder if we will get sort of that one-on-one time. I think one-on-one time with Taylor and Brian would be intense in a very differently charged way.
Yeah, probably.
And like, I feel like it wouldn't really go anywhere with Alec.
I'd love to see it though.
They wouldn't vibe that well.
Yeah. If you had to write that scene, in the next couple of chapters, what like activity would you have them do to spark the interesting conversation or lack of a conversation there?
Interesting. Oh, what a good question. I was going to say that I feel like it would involve, any conversation between them would involve like Alex saying like a couple of cryptic things in a sort of like sulky, annoyed way that Taylor would be like, oh, that seems like, what are you talking, like, that's really interesting. Like, but not being able to pull on it because neither of them is skilled at conversation, I think, in a way. Like, Lisa's really smoothing this over, making Taylor comfortable, and I don't think Taylor has good interrogation skills, and Alec just wouldn't be interested in drawing her out. So, okay, what could they be doing? I feel like if they had to do, like, I don't know, they had to dig a grave or something. I think I'm thinking specifically in terms of, like, digging up a grave. I guess digging a grave would be, like, fraught in a different way. But, like, something that's, like, manual labor for a long time.
I'm just imagining this as a scene from Buffy.
Yes,
basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I was very, like, Supernatural was sort of my go-to place. They're always having to dig up graves.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's like, Alec would be really annoyed, and that would sometimes make him say things.
Right.
But if we wanted him, like, maybe something that would actually get him talking, like maybe sharing his favorite piece of, like, Earth Aleph media, and just, she was like, will you just tell me about, like, the differences? And, like, he would really go off. But, like, she wouldn't necessarily learn anything personal about him. Right. It would just be sort of, they would bond over this media that he loves.
Right. I feel like we would get, like, little snippets of it, and, like, Taylor would either be, like, zoning in and out while she's thinking about something else, or it would be happening more in the background, and we'd be checking in, from time to time. I think that's about all I had commentary-wise. So do you have any more predictions?
I have a parting thought, which is, Taylor's wrong about the jeans. Jeans don't shrink in the wash. They always stretch when you wear them. I mean, they do kind of shrink in the wash, but, like, the jeans that you're buying new are going to end up bigger than you think.
That is true.
But maybe she knows that, and she was trying to trick Lisa.
I will say the skinny jeans, very 2011.
Oh, yeah. Perfect
detail. Takes me right back.
I don't like wearing jeans, but I do think skinny jeans are a good look on people who like them. And I'm sad that they're not a thing anymore.
They'll come back around.
That's true. I want to predict the Fugly Bob Challengers' powers.
Please do.
I think they can eat their enemies.
I mean, not to,
Okay, theoretically anyone can eat their enemies.
Yeah, what I was going to say is that's not really a unique power without you explaining it a bit more.
I mean, I think their mouth can get really huge and, like, unhinge, and they can swallow massive things whole.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But where do they go once they've been swallowed? Who knows? Maybe into the birdcage bucket.
Oh, the birdcage is a guy who eats people.
Wow, yes. Fugly Bob Challenger eats... Well, I guess it would have to be the birdcage in this case. Fugly Bob Challenger, who changed his name to the birdcage, just, will eat Loong, and he'll never be heard from again, but he's theoretically still alive. He didn't get chewed up.
Theoretically.
Swallowed whole.
Exactly. Good stuff. Well, I think there are no new names, so I think we'll have to keep that as
new names. Okay, well, I should try to predict what happens next. I didn't, in fact, do that at all. We're going to learn why they don't want to talk about their past, their origin stories. And I do think it's going to be, our powers are all from trauma. Duh.
Yeah.
And I think that'll be new information for Taylor, or maybe it's like, that's one theory and hasn't been confirmed or something like that.
Are we going to get... We have 4 origin stories on the table. Are we going to get any of them?
I think we're going to get Taylor's.
Ooh.
Because I think she'll at least think about it. And maybe the others won't tell. Maybe we'll get, like, one other. Or we'll get, like, little bits.
Okay.
Or, like, maybe Alec will be like, yeah, mine are from my dad, and, like, won't tell anything else about it. That kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah. I think they'll tell her Bitch's origin story.
Ooh.
They like talking about Rachel when she's not there. I mean, she's often not there. But they like, sharing the dirt on her.
Who among the others would you be most curious to learn about?
Well, based on her reaction, I think Lisa.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Exciting.
I mean, I was thinking they would have to run into someone in the market, but that was when I was thinking this needed to be catapulted into action. I wonder if this is going to go in a direction of, like, Taylor deciding if she wants Lisa's interference in her school problems. That doesn't quite feel right for, like, the next step. I guess they're going to start planning a, like, lower key activity. But it still feels like for there to be something action-y, dramatic in this chapter, it feels like there's going to have to be a surprise element that, like, none of them are expecting. Because, like, if they're engineering another job, it's not going to be, like, tomorrow. It's going to be, like, a couple weeks from now.
What are 3 surprises that could happen to them?
Yeah, I do think there'll be... I think there'll be 3 surprises, yeah.
No, but what are they? What are 3 examples that'll lead to an exciting scene?
Arms Master could contact Taylor.
Okay.
I think that's reasonably likely to happen sometime soon.
Okay.
They could run into Amy and Victoria.
Okay.
They could run into the bullies.
Okay.
I think based on what we just saw, the third one seems more likely for, like, the next step. Because Tattletale wants to interfere. Taylor's afraid of Tattletale interfering. Lisa interfering. And we just saw a new wave at the end of the last arc, and the bullies have come back, so it might be time for that.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Surprising stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Next time.
On Inchworm.
Worm is a web serial by J.C. McCrae. You can read Worm at parahumans.wordpress.com and support the author at patreon.com/wildvote. Follow us on Tumblr and Blue Sky at Inchworm Podcast, or find our Discord link and any other updates on inchwormpodcast.com.